Welcome back to Movie Moshow. Today we are going to review the mystery thriller film, Ghost Rider. If you like our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We post multiple times daily. Spoilers ahead. The caretaker, Sam Elliott, introduces the film by narrating the story of the Ghost Rider, a doomed soul bound to walk the earth and carry out the devil's commands. The contract of San Venganza is a parchment that contains the power of 1,000 wicked souls, and a Ghost Rider had been ordered to acquire it. The Ghost Rider betrayed his ancestry and outran the devil himself since he realized that this contract was wholly evil. The scene shifts to a fairground where father and son stunt team Barton Blaze, Brett Cullen, and Johnny, Matt Long, are entertaining the crowd on ramps. After the performance, Barton reprimands Johnny for being cocky and carelessly in an effort to impress Roxanne Simpson, Raquel Alessi, his girlfriend. Roxanne tells Johnny that her father is sending her away when they cross paths later that day under a tree. Johnny makes the decision to get ready so they may both flee. Before they separate, they exchange kisses. When Johnny returns home, his father is still holding a piece of paper and is asleep. The report comes from a doctor, and the bad news is that he has been identified as having terminal cancer. Crushed, Johnny rides his motorcycle to work. Mephistopheles, Peter Fonda, approaches Johnny and asks if he'll ever ride for him. Mephistopheles brings up Barton's condition and offers to assist. Mephistopheles presents Johnny a contract, which Johnny slashes himself when he opens it. Johnny asks what he may provide in return, to which Mephistopheles replies, "Your soul." Johnny assumes the man is insane or being sarcastic, so he answers, "Okay." This blood drop is accepted as the proper signature by Mephistopheles. In the same bed as Barton, Johnny awakens energized and upbeat. Johnny is shocked when Barton admits to being ill but suddenly feeling healthy as a horse. The following day at the performance, Barton tries a brand new stunt, jumping through a ring of fire, but fails and crashes. Johnny sobs as he sees his father suffer amid Mephistopheles' menacing laughter. When Johnny spots Roxanne at the high tree, he doesn't go with her but instead rides away. When Mephistopheles approaches Johnny, he makes a promise to use Johnny's services when necessary in the future. We quickly advance to a decade later. Johnny is the most well-known daredevil in the world, currently portrayed by Nicolas Cage. At a packed stadium, he is attempting a brand new feat by leaping over a line of parked semi-trucks. Johnny successfully hits the field's targets, however he misses the landing and crashes into a wall while on his bike. The members of Johnny's pit crew, led by his close buddy Mac, Donald Logue, come to his aid and discover him to be dazed but unharmed. When Johnny stands back up, the audience claps in approval. Later, when Johnny and his team are traveling, Mac is baffled because he doesn't understand how Johnny could have survived the collision. When Mac says that perhaps Johnny has a guardian angel, Johnny mumbles, "Maybe it's something else," as he glances out the window and briefly notices a flash of lightning turn his face into a skeleton. Mac and the team watch a television commercial for Johnny's upcoming stunt, which will take place in his birthplace. Johnny will try to jump over 50 cars and clear a football field's worth of distance, 300 feet. Blackheart, Wes Bentley, another mysterious black person, shows up at a Hells Angels club in the middle of the desert. He then uses a single touch to murder almost all of the group. As soon as Mac and Johnny get there, Mac tries to convince Johnny not to pull this new act because it appears risky. Mac is concerned about Johnny since he is acting irrationally and pursuing strange interests. Johnny's apartment is filled with odd books regarding the occult. In response, Johnny clarifies that all he wants is a sign and a second chance. Blackheart is accosted by the elemental spirits Gressel, Earth, Wallow, Water, and Abigor, Wind, back at the Hells Angels Tavern, and enlists their assistance in locating the contract of San Venganza. Despite their fear of Mephistopheles, a moniker that enrages Blackheart, the spirits concur. When a reporter approaches Johnny for an interview, he is preparing for his upcoming prank. To his surprise, Roxanne, now played by Eva Mendes, his former flame, is there. She arrives, and Johnny is so taken aback that he is unable to respond to any of her interview questions. Before Johnny starts his jump, Roxanne ends the interview and departs. Now that Johnny has agreed to remove the cars from the jump, Mac joins him on the ramp. He is relieved. 6 Black Hawk helicopters then drop into the stadium as the stadium roof opens after Johnny says he had another idea to add in. Mac is incensed by this alteration and demands to know what inspired such a notion. According to Johnny, his father Barton felt it would be amusing. Even though it is clear that Roxanne is still on Johnny's thoughts, he sets up his bike. He suddenly accelerates and moves down the ramp. After a few anxious seconds, Johnny successfully crosses and lands. Johnny waves to the crowd before taking off quickly. When Johnny approaches Roxanne and her news van, they are traveling on the freeway. To convince the van to stop so he may talk to Roxanne, Johnny pulls a few tricks. Roxanne gives in and asks Johnny to meet her later that evening in the hotel's restaurant. When they learn that Johnny Blaze is on the motorway, a mob of angry drivers who are upset about the traffic jam rush over to see what's going on and begin swarming around him for autographs. Mephistopheles, the man in black who signed the deal with Johnny, is confronted by Blackheart and his gang. Mephistopheles advises them against attempting to take the San Venganza contract and threatens them with the Ghost Rider in the process. Unafraid is Blackheart. This discussion makes it clear that Blackheart is Mephistopheles' child. Johnny realizes his hands are glowing brilliant red as he gets ready for his date with Roxanne. As he washes them, he notices that his hands are emitting steam. When Johnny enters the lane, a brand new motorcycle is waiting for him, fired up and ready to go. The appearance of Mephistopheles indicates that he has chosen to use Johnny's services. Mephistopheles reveals that he has been maintaining Johnny's life for the duration of this period in order for this day to arrive. Johnny is forced to get on the new bike by Mephistopheles, who then sends him off to find Blackheart with the promise of returning Johnny's soul if he succeeds. The speed at which Johnny's new bike takes off leaves a trail of fire and devastation throughout the town. The night watchman confronts Blackheart and his gang when they enter a railroad yard. Blackheart says he's curious because this area used to be a cemetery. Blackheart assassinates the watchman after he reveals that St. Michael's Church was responsible for moving the graves. When Johnny finally arrives, he thrashes in pain and gets off the bike. As Johnny roars in anguish and terrible desire, fire shoots from his hands and feet. Finally, a skeletal skull is revealed when his head erupts in flames. The replacement for the Ghost Rider is Johnny Blaze. In order to combat the Ghost Rider, Blackheart sends in his elementals. When Gressel backs a truck into the structure, Ghost Rider attempts to use some chains that he has taken off a neighboring wall as weapons but is prevented. Gressel is caught in one of Ghost Rider's chains that are set on fire as he emerges from behind the truck. Gressel wails in agony as he turns to stone and disintegrates. Whistling causes Ghost Rider to ride up on his motorcycle. When he touches the gas cap, the motorcycle changes into a fiery thing with a skull and chain that resembles the Ghost Rider. He sees a young woman being robbed as he travels through the town. The robber stabs him, but the knife simply melts off in Ghost Rider's body as he grips him. The mugger screams in despair as his past atrocities come back to haunt him, and Ghost Rider instructs him to look into my eyes. Ghost Rider throws the robber aside once the agony is through. After finishing his drive through the town on the outskirts, Ghost Rider is clearly getting weaker due to the approaching morning. He finally turns back into Johnny Blaze slowly and painfully in a cemetery. At his father Barton's tombstone, Johnny passes out. Reporting on the mayhem in town, Roxanne vents her resentment at Johnny for putting her down. During their inquiry, the police come across a license plate that belonged to one of Johnny Blaze's motorcycles. The caretaker finds Johnny and offers to help. Johnny initially objects, but changes his mind. According to the caretaker, the Ghost Rider is essentially the devil's bounty hunter, who is tasked with pursuing everyone who attempts to flee hell. Additionally, the Ghost Rider only shows up at night or when evil is present. When Johnny recalls what he did to the mugger, the caretaker explains that the penance stare was the Ghost Rider's most potent weapon. Anyone who experiences it will feel the sorrow of each sin they have committed. The caretaker tells the tale of the last Ghost Rider and the spirits of the people of San Venganza. He also makes it known that the hidden, fallen angels expelled from heaven, are the spirits that are pursuing Blackheart. The caretaker cautions against Johnny leaving to take care of some business because Blackheart and the hidden cannot enter hallowed land like the cemetery. Johnny would be safer staying there. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.